White eyes. Lydia Tay had just gotten back home after a pool party with her friends. They had a couple of drinks, listened to music, and just had fun. But then it started getting very dark, and she walked back home only to realize the minute that she entered her door that she had forgotten her phone back at the party. Shoot, it's already midnight. She wasn't gonna call her friend that late, so she said, "Okay, you know what? I'll just message her tomorrow on my laptop, and they'll give me my phone back. It's not a big deal." So she takes a shower and then goes to bed, but not before hearing knocking on her door. She's thinking to herself, "Who is knocking on my door this late at night?" So she walks over and looks through the peephole. This was kind of weird because she couldn't see through it. It looked white. There was just whiteness. She turned around and just tried to shrug it off. She was tired. She had drank too much. But the knocking happened again. And this time she thought, okay, these are probably my friends pulling a prank on me. Like, it's happened before. I know, and they're probably just trying to give me back my phone. So she calls out to them, says, "Hey, you guys, stop it. It's not funny." But there's no answer, which was unusual because every time they played a prank on each other, they would never just stay quiet. They would either laugh or just come out and be like, "we're just kidding." But not this time. She actually went outside to go see if her friends were there. However, she couldn't find anybody. She looked around her front yard. There was nobody. So who was doing the knocking? At this point, Lydia was scared and walked back into her house, and the minute she closed her door, she heard the knocking again. She quickly locked it and then looked through the peephole one more time. But this time she could actually see through it. So she's thinking to herself, "Whoa, how was I not able to see through it? Just see white, but now I can see through it. Like, none of this makes sense." And then the knocking would not stop. And at this point, she felt like her life was in danger. So she thought the best thing to do was to quietly go to her living room, make sure that all the doors are locked, and go to bed. Next morning, she messaged her friend and said, "Hey, I left my phone at your house, and by the way, did you guys come over?" And her friend responded, "What do you mean come over? And yes, I do have your phone. Were you guys like knocking on my door last night?" Her friend answered, "No. I mean, we all just went to bed. The other girls went home. Some of us slept over." This was shocking. Who was knocking on her door? When she went over to her friend's house to retrieve her cell phone, they were talking about it and then they just shrugged it off. They're like, "You know what, don't think about it. The point is you're fine, you're safe, and here's your phone." But as they were talking, there was breaking news. They both turned to the TV and said that the white-eyed serial killer had struck again last night. 5 people are now dead. They warned the entire town to be careful because this killer was stalking women, following them, knocking on their door, and just waiting for them to come outside so that he can abduct them and kill them. Lydia had no idea. She was super close to being the next victim. If she didn't go back inside the house a second earlier, the killer would have opened the door and come inside to attack her. Unbeknownst to Lydia, she realized that the reason why her peephole was white and couldn't see outside was because the killer, who had no pupils, just blank white eyes, had his face pressed against the people. It was his eyes that she was staring at.